Ram Rider is so insane. Dude. Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale, and I'm so happy to be joined by Wings. First time on the channel in about 3 years, you were telling me off air, man. It's been too long. How you been, bro?
It's been good. Honored to be back on.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you. No problem at all, man. I think that you were insane down the home stretch especially, but really all season for Misfits in CRL. We're going to break down you facing the SK Gaming team in King of the Hill, and we'll just kind of break down all these matchups in terms of how you approached each matchup and what you think of these players and stuff like that. But before we get into that, I have to ask you, Wings, you know, outside looking in, from my perspective, you went from being one of the best one-on-one players in the world. If I remember correctly, back in 2018, you had one of the highest win percentages in all of CRL, and you did it again this year, man. Like, congratulations, first of all. This is an incredible achievement, and I guess I wanted to ask you, do you see yourself as fairly ranked inside the game? When people talk about the best players out there, you prove it time and time again throughout the years as well, consistently. Do you use the fact that, you know, like on social media and stuff like that, I don't see a lot of people saying Wings is the #1 player in the world, but the stats back you up as being just an incredible threat, especially in 1v1 in Clash Royale. How do you see your trajectory as a player, and do you think you get the respect that you deserve? But first, guys, today's video is sponsored by PUBG Mobile. As you can see right now, we have a brand new map, the smallest, best, fastest, most efficient way to play Battle Royale inside the world right now is in Livic, the brand new map, which brings brand new weapons and also brand new deaths for yours truly. Actually, let's go ahead and retreat here. But brand new weapons and brand new vehicles coming Season 14 with Spark the Flame. I am here in Livic playing some Battle Royale. Okay. Oh guys, and I totally forgot there is also new multi-form outfits. Now there's a live event kicking off Season 14 that I'd love you guys to attend. I will be there in the chat. If you come by, be sure to say hey to me. It's going to be on July 27th at 6 p.m. PDT. Again, July 27th at 6 p.m. PDT. The link to this live stream will be in the show notes below. Top line of the description for you guys. I hope to see you guys there. Thanks again to PUBG Mobile for sponsoring today's video.
I really don't try to focus on that too much because if you have too much of an ego, it definitely affects your gameplay. Like, if you think you're one of the best players in the world, and you just have so much pressure on yourself, and it's kind of hard to keep it up. But I definitely think I'm a consistent player. I've been at the top for many years, so yeah, I think I'm definitely one of the top players.
Yeah, man. Well, there's no doubt about it. In terms of your I don't know, growth as a professional player, do you see it as kind of linear? Do you feel like you're continuing to improve season after season, week after week of CRL and competitive gameplay, or do you feel like you took any dips? And if so, like, how do you see yourself right now compared to where you were a couple years ago?
Yeah, I definitely took a dip like after 2018 because I had such a good season. It's kind of hard to keep repeating that stuff. But yeah, so I definitely took a dip.
Cool.
So 2019 was not that good of a year, but I got back to the same level this year. So
how has your deck selection, last question before we get into the gameplay here, how has your deck pool kind of changed over the years? I remember like talking about you, I don't know, years ago as like the go-to giant, like beatdown player in the entire game. Do you still see that as your huge strength, or has other archetypes kind of crept up into your like absolute comfort zone if you have to win a match?
Yeah, so like the main archetypes that I've been playing since I've started the game are largely, I've stayed the same, but I've added a few archetypes over the years, like Ram Rider, for example, Graveyard. Those are just a couple examples, but yeah, I've definitely stayed as good with Giant, and it's one of my main decks.
What do people, I lied, one more question.
Don't lie.
What do people, in your estimation, not understand, Wings, about Giant Beatdown? Like, why it's not incredibly popular in CRL. You see it from time to time, but it's not like one of the dominant archetypes. What do you see in that archetype in Giant decks in general that you feel like others don't? Or how do you play it that your average player doesn't play it?
I feel like the main problem is they don't know how to build their pushes properly. Like, they don't know how to keep their cycle in the most optimal order. Like they don't really know when to push. They put giant in the back when maybe they're even in elixir. They don't know when they're up in elixir. So yeah, I think that's the main problem. They just don't know when to go in.
Can you maybe name, like, I know it's always matchup dependent, but can you maybe name one or two situations where, you know, you'll play the deck or how you'll react to a given situation or a given matchup with a giant deck? For example, like, you know, if you're going against Lava Hound, you're always doing X, Y, or Z or something like that.
Yeah, so for example, against Lava Hound, you want to be, like, every matchup is different, so you want to be playing it differently. So against Lava Hound, you want to mainly, it also depends on what your support cards are. So for example, if you have Night Witch, you want to be going into the Lava Hound like with your giant tanking for it so the bats can kill it. And so let's say versus, I don't know, Graveyard Barput, you want to be playing really defensively. You don't want to be going in too much because then you give their defensive troops too much value. So it honestly depends on matchup.
Okay, so I'm sure we'll talk more about, you know, specific matchups as this video goes on. Let's go ahead and press play on the first match against Sergio Ramos in 3, 2, 1, play. So as we get into this match, I want to take a quick second as we're watching the beginning here and give a huge nod to your team, man. It seems like you guys had great chemistry. The whole Misfits squad behind kind of Trainer Dippets and everybody on the squad. How do you feel about the team, all said and done?
Yeah, they're all my friends, so I really like the team. We just get along really well. Obviously, we all speak the same language and we live pretty close to each other, so we were able to all be in the same house for the playoffs, so that definitely helped.
Absolutely. So here you're going with it looks like a Ram Rider deck, as you mentioned earlier, right?
Yep, this is Ram Rider.
Is this your favorite Ram Rider version of the deck? It seems high skill to me, Wings.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite. It's one of the only one that works currently because the Inferno Dragon, in my opinion. I think it's one of the more underrated cards.
So you're going against Sergio Ramos. I think that he's definitely a really, really solid player out there. He's the most winning player in terms of prize pool in the history of Clash Royale. How do you approach these every one of these matchups based on the player that you're playing, or based on your comfort zone, or a little bit of each?
It's mostly based on, not really based on the player.
Okay. I lost you for a second there. Go ahead.
This matchup.
Yeah. Yep. I got you.
So I only really use decks that I'm like super comfortable with, that I practice for hours and hours on end. This specific matchup, I think, is slightly for him. So you saw earlier, I went, you want to basically bait out his poison when he's lower in elixir, like I did earlier, and then go in with the Ram Rider when he doesn't have enough for Barput, or when he plays Barput in the other lane, you want to go in the opposite lane so that it doesn't pull it. So earlier, he played the Barput to the right, so I went on the left, like right here, and he's forced to play a super high Barput, which doesn't get the tower on the Ram Rider, and I'm able to get the heal spirit on it and get a connection for the win.
And that's insane that Ram Rider actually survived all the way through the Barbarian Hut to that tower, man. Yeah. So it seemed like you had that all kind of pre-planned. Like, how many moves ahead? At that point in the match, did you pretty much know what you had to do to win?
Yeah, definitely, because I think the major mistake he did was the Barput. If he played it too low so that I was able to go in on the left, without it getting retargeted to the Barput. So yeah, I recognized that, and I just went on full pressure on the left, and he wasn't able to defend it.
So are you using Magic Archer in this? We used it a lot in this matchup as kind of bait to get that poison out of hand, obviously getting you value where you can. When you play this deck, are you also using Magic Archer aggressively at the bridge to try to get that tower connection, or is it not really that sort of deck?
It depends on the matchup. If he has counters, but good counters to the Magic Archer at the bridge, I'll definitely do it. In this matchup, it's really only for if he plays at night, and he can just Musketeer, so it's not too value to do it at the bridge.
Okay.
So yeah, in this matchup, I didn't do it that much, but in the future matches, I think I did.
So for my viewers, these deck links will be in the show notes below as always. For my viewers who want to play that deck that we just saw you beat Sergio with, Wings, what should they, keep in the forefront of their mind in any given ladder matchup? Like, assuming that obviously they don't know what the opponent is playing, like what are some general strategy keys for that deck?
Yeah, so you never want to go in with like Lumberjack Ramrat or Lumberjack Ended when you don't know what they have. You always want to identify what they have first, so that you know when their counters are in cycle and when they're not. So you want to go in when they're either when you have more elixir than them, or you know their counter is out of cycle.
Okay, and you have Bandit in this deck as well. Do you ever, is it like a dual lane push deck, or are you using Bandit kind of to maybe get their counters out of hand for the Ram Rider and kind of set that up later?
Bandit usually is coming in later, like kind of as the final blow.
Okay.
To kill whatever remaining defensive troops they're in that they have.
Okay. And are you always, we saw that you didn't always do it in that scenario, so I guess the answer is no, but, I guess in a perfect world, talk a little bit about Lumberjack and Ram Rider. Are you always trying to get that Ram Rider raged up, or are you sometimes just attacking? We saw, I think, once or twice in that match. Are you attacking with the Ram Rider? Is it just being more aggressive with Lumberjack, Ram Rider, and double elixir time? Does it come down to that?
Yeah, I think in double elixir, you want to be going with Lumberjack more often. In single, it really depends. If you don't have the elixir to go Lumberjack, and you know they're down in elixir, then you can go in with Bandit. That works perfectly fine as well. It all depends on their elixir.
Okay, makes sense. Let's go ahead and sync up for the next match. All right, so here we go with the next match against Hobby 14. This time you decide to go Graveyard. So you didn't mention Graveyard as being one of your strengths. Why do you decide to go with Splash Yard here?
Splash Yard, before this I'd been practicing it a lot, and I don't think they expected it out of me, and I've been practicing it for a while, like on and off, so I'm definitely solid with it, so cool. I love this game.
When you practice a deck, do you practice mainly with your teammates against matchups? Is that how you kind of approach it?
Mainly against just the decks that they're good with, so I get the most optimal practice.
That makes sense.
I don't really do like specific matchup practice too often.
Okay. So now you're going against kind of the new in vogue bait deck with the Skeleton Barrel and Goblin Barrel. So what are your keys to victory on this match going to be?
Yeah, so as soon as I saw the Goblin Barrel and Skeleton Barrel, I knew his deck. So I was just playing super patient until double elixir. I was just playing defense the entire time, not making sure not to spend too much elixir. And if he gave me an opportunity, I would go in. Like, I think right here, I go in because he lets my knight cross the river, and I know I'm basically even in elixir, and I have Barb Barrel for his God Barrel, so I know I won't take too much damage on defense.
Okay. So here, you didn't really score a ton of damage there, but again, in this matchup, I assume you have quite a big advantage, or I should say you're better situated when you get to double elixir time, so at least you're kind of stalling time. Is that kind of what's...
Yeah, I was about to say that. That's...
Okay.
Mostly, the main reason I did that Graveyard was just to stall time.
Okay, cool. I think that's something that probably Graveyard, not that I am a Graveyard expert by any stretch, I think that's something that people don't recognize enough, is that sometimes you just, single elixir time, you just go in with a Graveyard. So now we're crossing over to double elixir time. Are you looking to kind of, when you cycle that knight in the back right there, and he plays Inferno Tower, what's going through your mind right now?
Yeah, so he plays a Dark Combo in the back, and I go in the other lane because I don't want to give his Dark Goblin too much value. That's the main key with this deck, with the bait deck, is to give your Dark Goblin value. So I make sure to never give him too much value. So I just let the knight die because it's a 3 for 5 trade, and I just keep playing defense until it gives me an opportunity.
Yeah, I like that you, instead of, because you had a knight and an Ice Wizard kind of alive in the left on that previous sequence, but you decided not to go in the Graveyard, and now you go in.
And now I go in because his Inferno Tower is not going to kill my Baby Dragon, and I have a Goblin Barrel attacking. And when the opponent has Dark Goblin, you want to play your poisons really like far back. Yeah,
and we saw that there, and now you connect for a ton of damage. And at this point, are you like happy to just poison cycle out and defend?
Yeah. At this point, I know I won because I went full defensive mode basically.
I gotta ask, man, when Wings, you've always seemed to me like the most cool, calm, and collected player out there. Do you think that plays to your benefit, or do you get nervous and you just don't show it?
I definitely get nervous before the match, but when the match starts, I have a clear mind, basically, so I'm able to focus.
Yeah, kind of a weird question, but do you do anything to like calm your nerves or anything? Do you like listen to music or anything, or meditate? I don't know. I don't know what players do.
In this specific CRL, I did listen to music during the matches, but
oh really?
Yeah, that was only for this one because we were able to.
Okay, I gotta ask, what'd you listen to? Any favorites? What genre at least?
Just like top 50 playlists, nothing special really.
Gotcha. All right, so here we go. Tower goes down. So now you're going to the third match, and you know you have Morten in front of you. Are there certain, like, obviously people always mention Morten as one of the best in the world, rightfully so, but are there certain players that, I don't know, I don't get the impression that anybody makes you afraid, Wings, but is there anybody out there that you're like, oh crap, like they have your number, or they're just really challenging to face for you specifically?
I don't think so. I think if I was going to be like afraid of a match, it would mainly because of decks, like their deck pool, not really because of the player. Like I don't really worry about the player too much. I'm just worried about how I'm playing. Like right when I get in the game, I don't focus on who I'm playing. I just how I'm playing.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So going into the match against Morten, where's your head at in terms of, okay, do you already know what deck you're going to play here? Going into this whole King of the Hill, in the event that you were in the position to sweep, which you are right now, did you have all 3 decks pre-planned for each player that you thought would be coming out for SK?
Yeah, I actually was supposed to use Balloon this game. Like my teammates told me to use Balloon, but I don't know, sometimes I just switch decks because I'm feeling really good with them. And this is one of the examples. Like I played Ram Rider pretty well in the first game, so I was feeling really good with it. So I just decided to repeat it and luckily got a pretty good matchup.
Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and sync up for match number 3. All right, so here's the third match going against Morten here. So you see his Goblin Cage as his first play, and you respond with just a Bar Barrel. Is that kind of just making your cycle to where you want it?
Yeah, that's just a cycle play. That's not really a calculated play. I just I'm cycling what he has.
Okay, and he goes Poison right away against your Magic Archer. We talked about this last matchup that you're looking to bait out that Poison early on, so you're thinking Ram Rider attack here?
Right here I'm just taking it slow because I don't want to, I'm like when I see the Firecracker, I know he has road delivery, so I don't want to give him too much value. Sure. So right here I'm just playing passively, trying to get an elixir lead where I can.
Okay. So we go Skeletons here, and then you see the Royal Giant, so you know exactly what deck he's playing here. So you were ready there.
Yeah, so right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Inferno Dragon, I know he has nothing for it on offense, so I dropped that basically instantaneously, and then Ram Rider to slow down the RG. That's basically how you want to be defending RGs, either with Lumberjack or Inferno Dragon, and then Ram Rider to slow it down.
Yeah, I love that play. A lot of people, they know that Ram Riders can be a defensive tool, but you don't see it used that often. I guess on this random ladder matches, pro play different, but against Royal Giant. So are there any other cards that you use Ram Rider against as kind of a go-to option with this deck on defense?
Yeah, like Balloon, for example, is really good to use it on defense because you get a counter push. Yeah, so mainly RG and Balloon are the two.
Okay.
Not really the other ones. Maybe Hog.
I was gonna say if they Hog as well. So
yeah, definitely Hog.
Here, Morten makes the rare mistake and misses on.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate for him.
Yeah. So are you thinking just if a player makes a mistake like that, are you just looking to punish like immediately? That's what you do here.
Yeah, I was looking to punish because I knew he couldn't kill the Magic Archer, and I could heal Spirited up to full health. And even though I didn't get that much damage, like I got a 5 elixir lead after this, so it was definitely worth it.
Yeah. So I like that. Do you do the same thing like on ladder and stuff? Like if your opponent makes a mistake like that with a spell or something like that, especially if you already have like a Magic Archer alive, are you always looking to punish?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking to go in.
Okay.
Because I know they just can't kill it with any of their other cards, so
you got to be feeling good. Yeah, you got to be feeling good right now, even though you don't. Well, you just got the damage advantage, but you have like a really rock solid defense.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good matchup for me. He can't really get that much damage when I just save Ram Rider
Yeah.
for all of his defenses.
Yeah, I feel like you have good options
so-
against him, and he has good options against you as well. All right.
Yeah, but over time, I think mainly because of that missed poison, I was just up in elixir basically the entire game, and he was just not able to recover from it.
When you snipe with those magic archers, is that something that you do routinely with this deck, even if it was against whatever they play there, any sort of a spawn or anything like that? Would you always snipe with magic archer if you had the elixir?
Not
Okay.
Because he doesn't really have too good of responses to it at the bridge. Like, he can't kill it over the river too well. But if he had like Mega Mini, for example, then I don't think I would do it because it just gets killed immediately. But against this deck, definitely.
Man, it seems like there's just so much. I mean, obviously you know all these decks so well, so you probably already have like these game plans, in your head. But it seems like there's so many factors to each little decision that you make in all of these matchups. Like I'll play Ramra, I'll play Magic Archer high if they don't have this or they have that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it honestly all depends on what they're using.
So you get that connection there on the left tower, and at this point in the match, you've got to be feeling like really, really good here.
Yeah, I basically knew I had it if I just didn't spend too much elixir on offense when I didn't need to, and just save Ram Rider on defense for every RG. Like, yeah, I don't think he got a single RG yet because I saved it every single time. Like right here, I think he had 2 RGs down and he didn't get a single. Dude, Rider was just stunning him forever.
Ram Rider is so insane in those situations, man. You played it so well. You make it look really easy against some of the best players in the world here, Wings. So congratulations again. You guys killed it. Second place this season in CRL. You must be looking forward to the fall season to come back as strong as you guys left things off.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks again for coming on the channel. Wings, any shout outs, anything that we should mention before we let you go?
Just shout out to Misfits, shout out to my teammates.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks
for all the supporters.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. We'll make it less than 3 years again before we have you back on, hopefully, Wings. I really appreciate it, man. All right, guys, check out Wings player stats and profile. Thanks to statsroyale.com. And Geyser information. A big shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information in the show notes below. I'll also include a link to Misfits Gaming and to all Wings social media and stuff like that, so you can give him a follow. All in the show notes below, along with the deck links. Guys, good luck. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.